Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I cannot believe that 2023 is over and another year has gone by. I cannot say it was one of my favorite years that I've ever experienced, but there are a few things, products, movies, TV shows, all that kind of stuff that I did really enjoy this year that I wanted to share with you before 2024 starts. So the only real criteria that I gave myself when thinking about everything I was going to include in this video was that it had to have been something new to me in 2023, and then for movies and TV shows, pretty self-explanatory, but that it came out in 2023. So without further ado, let's get into everything. Let's start with the biggest item. This is the Dyson Airwrap. I did receive this for the holidays in 2022, but I think I used it like twice in 2022 before we had to like head home for the holidays and stuff. So I really got acquainted with this in 2023 and I do really like it. I feel like I'm just still not using it to its maximum potential because this is just my hair normally. I don't do any like real styling to it. I really just like blow dry it with this and then I use the brush to just kind of like go over it, and that's it. I don't use like the curling attachment or the round brush attachment, and that is something I would like to try doing in 2024. So maybe if you start seeing me with like wavy or like curls in my hair, that will, you know, give you a sign that I've actually started to use this more. But I do wash my hair obviously like 2 to 3 times a week, so I definitely get my use out of this, and it has made my hair drying experience much better because I do, even though my hair is on the shorter side right now because I got it cut like last month or the month before, I do have a lot of hair and it is very thick. So normal blow dryers, I will be like sweating, my arm will be hurting from holding it up. It's like a whole process, and I do really love my Airwrap. This was another holiday gift that was given to me last year in 2022, but again, something that I have used every single day in 2023. My Stanley, I don't remember what the color name of this is, but my husband got it for me last year for Hanukkah, and it is something I just love. And I have my Hydro Flask still, and I do occasionally actually bring that to my spin class specifically, just because placing this on the bike is just like very cumbersome because of the like size difference on the bottom. And I'm always afraid it's gonna fall down. So I will bring my Hydro Flask with me to spin. But otherwise, like, this comes with me everywhere. I love it. Having it be able to be in the cup holder really is the biggest game changer compared to the Hydro Flask. My husband still does have a Hydro Flask. I would like him to convert and get a Stanley, but it is nice now, especially like when we're driving places together and he'll bring his Hydro Flask, I'll bring my Stanley. I can put that in the cup holder, and then we don't have to have both of our Hydro Flasks like banging around in the back. But I love this, and I love that it has a handle. I don't bring this with me when I'm like walking around places, but I'll leave it in my car, and it really does like keep everything cold, and it comes around with me all over the apartment all day when I'm at home, and I just love it. It definitely lives up to the hype. So another product that I've really been liking this year is the Casper Glow Nightlight, and this is by Casper, who makes mattresses, pillows, all that stuff. And this nightlight is pretty inexpensive. I think it's like $16, and we've had a really good experience with it so far. It is plugged in our bathroom, and we have it set to the night owl mode, which basically is just like a motion detecting mode. And so when it's dark and, you know, motion is detected, it will turn on, but during the day it won't come on because it can tell that there's like natural light in there. But at night when we go in to like brush our teeth, if like all the lights are off, or if we wake up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, I'm saying we, like me or my husband, it is just really nice. And I think this would also be nice if you were in like a bigger space and you needed something like in hallways for at night, and you could have it set to the night owl mode. So It helps, you know, illuminate your walkway or something. But then you can also have it set to the sleep mode, which I think is similar, that it only comes on when it's dark, but it just stays on. It's not motion activated. I don't really think that that's necessary. I like the motion activated, so it's not just like going all night. But yeah, this is something I really like. You can get it at like Target, Best Buy, places like that. And it's been a really beneficial product. And it's not something I ever really thought that I would need, but I also really like it for taking showers at night and for taking baths at night, because having the overhead light is just too much light. If I want to take like a bath or shower at night and it's just like way too bright in there. But especially if I'm taking a bath and I have like my laptop, it's not like totally dark, but I just want like a little bit more light. The night light is nice for that. Okay, let's get into a few beauty products. This is one that was actually released this year, and so obviously it's something I was introduced to this year. It's the Cocokind Chlorophyll Discoloration Serum, and I have really been enjoying this. You can see I'm like almost out of it. I do have a new one that they kindly sent me, so thank you, Cocokind. But this has alpha-arbutin, which is great for helping reduce redness and reduce the appearance of dark spots. It's not too aggressive. It does not feel like tingly, and I think it's just been really nice. I mentioned this in a review that I did on TikTok when it first came out, when they sent this to me to try, but I really started noticing this year that I was getting like some sunspots along my hairline, which meant I just needed to be better about applying sunscreen. But for fading those spots, I feel like this has been really helpful. I don't think like if you have like years long, you know, dark spots that have appeared on your skin from like sun damage or breakouts, I don't know if this is enough. I think you would probably have to get like a professional treatment for that. But for things that just like randomly pop up, it's really nice. And I've definitely noticed a reduction in redness, especially on my skin. So I've really been liking this, and I'm excited to keep using it. I absolutely love this product from Vacation. This is their Super Spritz SPF 50. First of all, I'm just obsessed with their packaging and like their whole branding and aesthetic. I think they've really hit the nail on the head with like the nostalgia aspect of things, and just really leaning into that, like the font, the coloring, the smell, like everything just reminds me of being at the beach in my childhood. But I definitely still am using this during the winter to just like spray on my skin and just make sure I'm protected with SPF coverage. But especially in the summer when I would go to places like Disneyland or, you know, the beach, be out and about, and this is just like really nice to spray so I don't have to reapply a cream. And I just absolutely love this stuff. It's so good. And I really like I said, Vacation in general. I like their just like classic lotion. I had a couple of mini sizes of that, and I like keeping them in my purse for reapplying to like my hands and my arms and stuff, especially when I'm driving. So just something I'm really into. I feel like the aesthetic and branding of this is kind of similar to Vacation. Maybe I'm just saying that because they're both white and blue, but this is the Mega Babe Thigh Rescue Anti-Friction Stick, and this basically just looks like a deodorant stick, but you apply it to your inner thighs for, you know, days when it's hot and you don't want to have any irritation be happening. And this is very beneficial, and it definitely works. I will say the only thing is that like I'm just thinking about myself for like a Disney day. When I'm there in the summer for like a really long time, like it will wear away because you were sweating. It does work, but I just would not bring this with me because it will melt if it's like 100 something degrees. So it's really kind of like you have to just apply it in the morning and then like go on with your day. But it's not something I would even be able to keep really in my car because again, it would melt here. So I do really like this. And it's not something I've really used in like the past few months, but especially when it's warm, which it is a majority of the year here in LA, this is very beneficial. Next, we've got the M61 Power Glow Peel Pads. I've gotten kind of one-offs of these throughout the years when I order things from Blue Mercury, but I don't know if I had ever actually purchased, I don't think I have, the actual box with these, and this is just really nice as a treatment to use. I use it once a week, usually on Sundays, and I will just like rub one of the pads all over my face. I'll take it down my neck, my décolleté, my chest. If I have any breakouts or anything, like especially on my chest, if I get like a random spot, or on my back, I'll use it on there. And this has glycolic and salicylic acid, and it's just a really nice peel. I like I said, using it on Sundays, and I'll do it at night so I don't have to worry about putting sunscreen on after, because your skin will be more susceptible to sun damage after using something like this. But I just really like it. And yeah, it's not like too aggressive, like it doesn't leave my skin red or feeling or looking irritated, but it's just something I really enjoy, and it's kind of like a one-step skincare. I won't use other products after using this, and I just really have been a fan of these little pads. I don't really have any food items that I've been enjoying specifically in 2023, but I do have this tea that I've been liking. This is from Traditional Medicinals, and this is their Peppermint Delight Probiotic. I don't have any issues with digestion or anything like that, but I just really like the flavor of this because it's peppermint and lemon in one, so I don't have to always have a lemon on hand to add to peppermint tea. That was kind of the reasoning behind this, because I just didn't want to have a lemon all the time and not use it. So I like this because it's like a little bit lemony, pepperminty, and it's just really delicious. And I've been trying to drink this every night. My last video was my morning and night routine, so if you haven't seen that, I'll link it up above. But I talked about how I have been enjoying drinking tea every night, and either watching TV or reading, and it's just been like a very cozy way to end off the night, and I've just really been a fan of this tea. Something that I started doing in 2023 was streaming. So I started streaming, I think it was back in August, and it's something I've been able to do like 2 to 3 times a week ever since then, and I've really been enjoying it. It's really fun. I primarily just play Disney Dreamlight Valley and just, you know, share what I'm doing. It's especially fun when there's like updates and changes and stuff. Right now we're in the midst of like our winter update and season and stuff. So if you have not been able to check out my streams, would love if you would do so. I'm normally streaming, like I said, like 2 to 3 times a week, usually Monday and Wednesday or Wednesday and Friday-ish, around 8 to 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So would love if you would come and check those out. Something I want to be better about in 2024 is actually finishing the books that I have before I buy a new one. But this is one that I could not pass up asking for. My parents just got it for me recently for Hanukkah, and it's something I have been really enjoying. This is Welcome to the OC, the oral history, and this is written by Alan Sepinwall. He's the chief TV critic at Rolling Stone, and it's also in conversation with Josh Schwartz, who's the creator of the show, and Stephanie Savage, who was an executive producer, and conversations with a lot of the crew and like the whole cast of the show. And I really like the way that it's laid out with conversations, and also just kind of like this is what it looks like. So it'll have like, you know, quotes and everything from everyone, and then it'll have like descriptions of like what's happening and stuff like that. And it really breaks things down in a good way. I absolutely love the OC. It's like one of my favorite TV shows of all time. I just think it's like so fantastically done. I love the whole cast, and I feel pretty knowledgeable, or I felt pretty knowledgeable before reading this about the history of the OC, because I listened to Melinda Clark and Rachel Bilson's podcast. I also, which is over now, but I still listen to Rachel's podcast, Broad Ideas. I'm gonna talk more about podcasts in a bit, but so obviously I've like learned a bunch about the history and the making of the show, but this just gives even more insight because it has so much information in it, and just like chats with so many people that are involved in the show. So if you're an OC fan, I highly, highly recommend this. It's really good. And like I said, one of my goals for this year is to be better about actually finishing books that I'm starting. So I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to finish this up soon so that I can get into some of the other books that I have that have been waiting to be read before I even got my hands on this one. But I'm really enjoying this so far, so I wanted to give it a little shout out. Let's get into talking about some movies and TV shows that I really liked this year. Starting off with movies, of course, I have to say Barbie. I feel like Barbie Mania obviously really took over this year, and just there was pink everywhere and people saying hi Barbie to each other, or people saying hi Ken to each other. There were pop-ups, there was just like so many different things, and they did like so many different, Mattel did like tons of different licensing deals and partnerships with different brands for so many different Barbie things. And it's just like such a feel-good, happy movie, but also has just like such an amazing message that I feel very passionately about. And I just loved it. And it's just one of those movies that just this year I feel like is something we really needed, something so positive. And it definitely was that for me. I just absolutely loved it. Elemental is another movie that I just absolutely loved. I really fell in love with it. I like feel like I'm gonna cry just talking about it, but it connected with me on like such a level that I feel like I have not felt about a Pixar movie in a really long time. And don't get me wrong, like Luca, Turning Red, like a bunch of Soul, like all the movies that came out within the past few years from Pixar, I did also really like, but this just really hit me in such a way, especially because my dad owned a business up until 2019, and it is no longer open, and it's something that's still really difficult for me to talk about and deal with. So I did not really know going into the movie that that was going to be like such a plot point of Ember's dad's business. So it really hit me hard. And I just really loved it. I just can't even, I love it. I can't talk about it anymore because I'm probably gonna cry. But it's just something I loved so much, and I am so glad that it got made and that it was as successful as it was. Another movie I really loved this year was You're So Not Invited to My Bat Mitzvah. I absolutely loved that book back when it came out. I don't remember the exact year it came out, but I remember reading it around the time of me planning and preparing for my bat mitzvah, which was 15 years ago in 2008. And I just loved this movie. I think that Adam Sandler and his daughters and stuff really did a great job, and I just loved it. So if you haven't seen that yet, you can stream it on Netflix. And it also inspired me to break out my old bat mitzvah footage, and old bat mitzvah footage, obviously it's old, it's 15 years old, my footage from my bat mitzvah, and go back and watch it and stuff. And so then I just fell down a whole nostalgic, obviously, like rabbit hole. And I just really loved that movie. There are so many TV shows that came out this year that I really enjoyed. Most of them were miniseries, but then there are also a few like first seasons of things that came out that I really liked. And I don't want to go too deep into detail for each of these because it'll take me a while, but I'll just mention a few things. First is Daisy Jones and the Six, and I really feel like I need to read the book for that after watching the show, especially because the author, Taylor Jenkins Reid, she actually went to the same college as me, Emerson College, so that's pretty cool. But I absolutely loved this show. I just think it was so good. Like Riley Keough especially was just amazing. The music I was listening to nonstop for like months after it came out. I want to buy the record because I want to be able to have that. I just loved it. I thought it was so well done and just like so beautiful. And I love the aesthetic of like the 70s and stuff. So I just really enjoyed that show. Jury Duty is something my husband and I were a little bit late to the game on watching. But when we did, we watched it, I think in like a day or two over a weekend, and it was so good and so funny. And my husband and I actually both had jury duty for the first time ever this year. So it actually kind of worked out that we watched it after we served on juries, because we were, you know, able to talk about that kind of stuff. And it was just funny, like looking back at our own experiences. And we were not, neither of us were sequestered or anything for our juries, but I was on jury duty for, I think, 8 days, and he was on it, I think, for 5. He was on a criminal case and I was on a civil case, and it was really interesting. I will say that was, I don't want to say a highlight of this year, but that was definitely something interesting that I did this year, that I obviously had not gotten to do before, to just see like the inner workings of like the legal system, and then to watch the show. I just thought it was so funny. And also seeing how like all the places that they filmed it in LA, like going to Margaritaville at Universal Studios and stuff like that. It was just really funny, and I highly recommend watching that show if you haven't yet. Poker Face is a show that I really, really enjoyed. It's starring Natasha Lyonne, and it's kind of like a cast, I don't know what like that style is called, but it's kind of like a cast member of the week or like a story of the week type thing. So it's following her throughout. There is like a through line story to it, but it's like each week she's like encountering something new, and she has this kind of knack for knowing when people are lying. And each week it's like a little like murder mystery or like a mystery that needs to be solved. And she's able to do that through her ability to tell when people are lying. And I just thought it was so well done and like so funny and enjoyable. So I'm looking forward to season 2, because I'm pretty sure it was renewed for a 2nd season already. Queen Charlotte is a mini series kind of spin-off from the Bridgerton universe. So it's a prequel to Bridgerton, and it's giving the backstory and history of Queen Charlotte, who we see in Bridgerton. Looking forward to season 3 of Bridgerton, which is coming out, I believe, at some point in 2024. So that's exciting. But I really, really liked Queen Charlotte. Again, it was like a very quick just watch of the whole thing, because I'm pretty sure it was like 6 or 8 episodes or something. But really enjoyable. Shonda Rhimes just like knocks it out of the park with Bridgerton and everything. So definitely really liked watching that this year. This is not something that came out in 2023, but it is something that I started watching in 2023, and it has to do with Shonda Rhimes. It's Grey's Anatomy. I did not ever think that I was going to be someone who was going to watch Grey's Anatomy, I'm going to be honest with you, but I had seen the first maybe like 2 seasons way back in the day, like years ago, and I did like it, but it's just not something I ever continued watching. I'm pretty sure I only watched those first 2 seasons when How to Get Away with Murder and Scandal were on, because I really liked watching those shows, and there's a lot of crossover with the actors and stuff who are in those shows, that they, you know, were in Grey's Anatomy as well. And I just really like it. I think I've watched through season 15 at this point, so I have to watch 16 through 19, and then season 20 will be picking back up in, I think, February of 2024. So looking forward to that. Hopefully I'll be able to get through and get caught up so that I can watch that weekly. But it's just something I have really enjoyed watching. It kind of replaced, honestly, Gilmore Girls for a little bit as just like my show to have on when I'm like doing various things. But I have taken a little pause from it and gone back to Gilmore Girls for a bit. So yeah, that's just something I really enjoyed watching this year that I did not think I was going to. Shrinking is another show that I really liked this year. It was an Apple TV original, and I believe it's already been renewed for season 2 as well, which is amazing. But I just really, really enjoyed it. It is starring Jason Segel and Harrison Ford, and I think it does a really good job of just exploring the range of human emotions, and gives a really good depiction of grief and how people cope with it or don't cope with it. And it's just really interesting and just really well done, and like funny when it needs to be and serious when it needs to be, and just something I really liked watching this year. I don't know what else there is to say about it. If you've seen my favorite videos that I did a few of this year, you've probably already heard me talk about them, but I wanted to give a quick shout out to a couple podcasts that I started listening to this year. First being Broad Ideas with Rachel Bilson. I kind of mentioned that earlier when I was talking about Welcome to the OC, but I really enjoyed this podcast. It's just like a weekly conversation between Rachel, her best friend Olivia, and then a different person. So usually it's a celebrity, but sometimes they also have other people, like I think they've had like therapists and things like that. Just kind of like talking, and it's just a nice listen for like, it's usually pretty long episodes, like an hour and a half. So especially when I have long drives, it's really nice to just like listen to a full episode. And I am kind of drawing a blank right now on like specific episodes that I want to shout out, but I started listening to the Wilson Bethel episode a couple days ago. I need to finish that up. He was on an episode of the OC, but then he went on to be in Heart of Dixie with Rachel, and I really enjoyed listening to that podcast this year. Another podcast I know I gave a shout out to in a previous favorites video is the We Don't Want to Grow Up podcast. This is hosted by a husband and wife duo, Pete and Stacy, and it's just really fun and enjoyable. They mostly do recaps of different movies and kind of like break it down. So they'll go through and give like their favorite moments, honorable mention, you know, favorite moments, and then things they don't like, and then they'll share like different fun facts about things. And these are all movies that came out usually in like the 80s and 90s, and some into like the early 2000s, but it's just really fun to listen to, and just like hear them chat about things. They also do fun like little games and quizzes and stuff, and it's just a fun little listen, very light and enjoyable. One last podcast I wanted to give a shout out to is Too Niche. I started listening to that this year as well. That's hosted by Elizabeth Cott, who is formerly of That's So Retrograde, and Laura Shaneholtz, and it's just a really fun, like sometimes like silly podcast where they kind of talk about a topic and they say they haul it to death. So they'll do things like they did one recently, luxury advent calendar. So they went through like all the different luxury brand advent calendars and kind of like broke it down and rated everything. They do a lot of stuff about like Bravo and reality shows, which sometimes I don't understand because I don't watch Real Housewives or any like Bravo shows, but I listen to them anyway because I just like hearing them talk. Or they've done like Kardashian Christmas cards. So they like went through all of the cards that the Kardashian and Jenner family have done over the years, and they like, you know, go into like describing it and break it down. They've done like Heidi Klum's Halloween costumes throughout the years and like go through her being an old woman and then a bug, and I think she was like a worm and a butterfly and all kinds of things. But it's just really fun and funny, and they talk a lot about like LA things as well. They did like an Erewhon haul of different like Erewhon celebrity smoothies and stuff like that. So it's just really fun and funny to listen to. And again, they have like usually episodes that are on the longer side, which I prefer. And they're just really good and fun to listen to. I don't know what else to say or any other adjectives to use. That is going to be it for my 2023 favorites. I hope that you enjoyed seeing and hearing about the different products and TV shows and all that good stuff that impacted me in a positive way this year. I would love to know what your favorites were, so don't forget to let me know in the comments down below. And I'm not really sure how I'm feeling about making this as like a formal announcement, but I am kind of considering cutting back on my YouTube uploads. It's something I've been consistent with every single Sunday, I think starting in February 2022. So it's been almost 2 years of uploading a YouTube video every single Sunday, and I'm really grateful that I've seen growth with my channel. I think we're at like 300 subscribers now, which is great, and I am definitely so appreciative for that. But I really would like to kind of take a look at my career and my life and just kind of like thinking about the way that I want things to go for me in 2024 and focusing on new projects and opportunities and stuff. I'm kind of considering maybe cutting back my uploads, but I'm not 100% sure because I don't want to fall out of being consistent with YouTube, because it has been really nice to be like disciplined with something for myself. So I'm not sure yet, but I just want to like give a semi heads up that that might be happening. I'm looking at like my calendar so far, and I do have videos already planned for like 3 out of the 4 Sundays in January and like 3 out of the 4 Sundays in February. So like I said, we'll see. I am going to spend the rest of this week between Christmas and New Year's, and then next week when I'm going on a little trip, just thinking about things, like I said, my career, my life, and all that stuff. So we'll see where things end up, but I will keep you posted in future videos where I kind of end up with that. But like I said, I hope that you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe down below if you are not already. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and like I said, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what your favorites were from the year, and I'll see you in my next video again really soon, and have a happy new year. Bye.